Good evening and welcome to Irish Sports World on Thursday, the 15th of February. Desperately quiet day today, to be honest. There's not anything happening, but thought I'd give a little run on the Champions League as it's going on. Looks like it could be quite a good one this year. A lot of teams have chances, and overall, again, City are off favourites for it, but the one problem I see with City, they have the players, but they are dependent on De Bruyne, whatever you want to call him, and the worry was that they diagnosed what he had in the summer as a hamstring, but it took him a long time to get over it, and you'd wonder if there's not deeper issues there. I hope not. He's one of my favourite players, I think most people's, because he's probably been the best player in Europe and possibly in the world for the last 7 years, and without him, City are not the same team. So if he has a problem, then City will, even now they're very short, I think 94 or something like that. It's not a lot of value because, as I say, there's quite a few quality teams left. And just looking at what I'd fancy, looking at the prices, second favourites Real Madrid at 9-2. That's quite a good price because, as we all know, it's their competition, and then they've got Ancelotti, who's got the record of managing 4 winning sides, and you have Bellingham at the moment the player of the season in Europe. So, I would think that's quite value. And then a couple of more teams that interest me, a team that most people would laugh at, PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, who've tried to buy the competition for nearly the last 10 years. You'd be saying, why they've lost Neymar and Messi, so why should this year be different? Well, I think it's maybe in one way they were fortunate to lose those two guys, because Neymar never added anything really to the team. His price tag was ridiculous. I know he's not a bad player, but 222 million was crazy, and he did have issues. And Messi seems to be at the sign of his career, where he's just collecting as much money as he can, going over to that Mickey Mouse League in America to God knows what he's earning there. So, yeah, I don't think they were that big a loss. And I think that Mbappe has been saying he's leaving. He should have left a while back. He's been with them for long enough, and he is, with De Bruyne, top players. Maybe some more so even Mbappe, genuinely top player, as he showed in the World Cup final last year. But he's saying he's definitely leaving this summer. But he said that before. But it will look like this is their last chance, because if Mbappe goes, it doesn't matter how much money they spent, they can't replace him. I'd be thinking they'll be looking like that, and they still have a pretty good team with people like Hakimi going up the left, and probably the best goalkeeper in the world, Donnarumma, and Mbappe doing his stuff, and they wouldn't have too many weaknesses. One of the Hernandez brothers is with them as well. So yeah, at 12-1, that might be interesting. But then, as we know, it depends on the draw too. It depends if you have to get lucky with the draw. I think that's the way it works. It's not so much a seeded draw. Well, it's slightly seeded, but you could end up being unlucky. So you have to remember that. And the final team, I think, could be interesting is Inter Milan, who are running away with the Serie A, and that's not easy to do these days with Juventus coming back, and with AC always being dangerous in their own teams, of course, but Inter running away with it. And I think at 16-1, that's interesting. It'll always be hard to beat anyway, and they have won it before, so actually they're the last Italian team to win it under Mourinho, so they'll be there. But that's just wishful thinking, just what I was thinking of, that the book on the Champions League. Just one interesting game I thought was slightly interesting next week from a betting point of view. PSV are playing Dortmund in it, and I'm looking at Dortmund at 9-4 to beat PSV, of course in Holland, but thought that was maybe slightly generous because Dortmund now are doing well right now. I mean, they've had a poor start to the season, but they've something like won 4 of their last 5, and of course Sancho is back with them, and Sancho is home, and Sancho is one hell of a good player. And as I said before, Ten Hag dealt with that situation very badly. And I think with him there, I mean, people immediately showed PSV are absolutely cakewalking it in the Dutch league with an amazing record, almost 100% record, something like 19 wins and 2 draws, no losses, an amazing goal difference. But right now, the Dutch league isn't the strongest, and Ajax are nowhere. So, yeah, maybe worth a few quid, but we'll see. There we go. So that's the Champions League. All interested just on the racing, as I was talking about the betting, and I'm sure nobody's noticed, but I picked the 4 horses yesterday. And I got a massive shock when my first pick at Sandown 230 Springtime Promise came in at 11-1. Then I had 2 losers, and then Search for Glory came in at Clonmel for Gordon Elliott at 5-4. So basically, if you done €1 Yankee for €11, you'd have won €27. I didn't do that because if I did, neither of those horses would have won, as I've said before. And just quickly on the minor racing tomorrow, just to see if we can get a run going. But these are dodgy now, to be honest, because the racing is poor, shocking poor. Kelso 325, Ned Tanner. Kelso 255 going back is, I picked Cracking Rhapsody. And in the 4 o'clock at Kelso, I've picked Special Rate. And then just managed to get an outsider in the 310 at Fakenham, a horse called pronounced something like Consoro. So there you go. So that's the stuff for today, and wishing you a good evening, and you'll listen to me maybe again tomorrow. Good night.